Yo, water rockets are weird. Curtains closed, thanks for watching. No, but for real, water rockets are weird. They only appear in 2 levels throughout the game, which are the 2 roller coaster levels, of course. But did you know that in some ways, Sunshine considers them as enemies? Sure, while they can't hit Mario or be stomped on by Mario or really affect Mario at all in any of the ways that a traditional enemy would, it turns out that it's a bit of a different story for Yoshi. Yeah, Yoshi can eat rockets. But that's not all, because Yoshi can also spray rockets to turn them into platforms, which traditionally is a role that only enemies play in this game. Oh yeah, not to mention that the game's code also treats rockets as enemies at points. Now Yoshi, you wait right there, we're not done with you yet. I still have something cool to show them. However, one of the strangest things of all when it comes to rockets is that when you place a rocket manager object into a level, which you don't really need to know much about, it's just an invisible object that must accompany rockets when they're put into a level, then a bunch of rockets will be placed seemingly at random. However, it's not random. The rockets are in fact being placed at predetermined locations. It's just that those predetermined locations weren't meant for rockets, but instead as paths for enemies. Specifically, these guys. Without giving a lesson on how rails work in Sunshine, this is a pretty good video to watch if you're interested. You can see that here in the plaza, these rockets have been placed on the path the Goombas like to travel. Same here in Bianco and also in Rico. This is probably a leftover functionality of rockets if I had to take a guess. In fact, did you know that water rockets were still being worked on until the very end of Sunshine's development? So this is something I kind of missed in my video about Sunshine's demo disc, which you can watch right here, but water rockets actually behave quite differently here on the demo disc. Keeping in mind this demo disc came out not a month before Sunshine, this paints a pretty clear picture of how rushed things were for this game's development cycle. Anyways, to get back on topic, let me show you how rockets differ on the demo disc. For one, they shoot off much earlier than they do in Sunshine's release. You normally have to full press R to shoot off a rocket, but here on the demo disc, it's more like a half press. This all wouldn't be too bad if not combined with the fact that rockets will immediately shoot off the second you collect them. Rockets are not like that at all in the release of Sunshine. Otherwise, there's actually not much else to talk about with rockets on the demo disc, so the last thing I'll show you is that they do indeed work on Mecha Bowser the same way they always do and nothing special. Okay, so let's get back to Yoshi. I have a really cool... Well, he ran off, but that's okay, we won't need him. Yeah. In the meantime, let's backtrack just a little bit. While I was talking about the demo disc, you may have noticed Mario is able to collect and even shoot water rockets while on foot, kind of as if they were Poinks. Speaking of Poinks, let's talk about them really quickly. So despite Poinks and water rockets sharing some superficial similarities, they don't really share any behaviors. For instance, Poinks can't hurt Mecha Bowser and rockets won't wake up Petey. But can you wake up Wiggler with either rockets or Poinks? No, of course not. And no, you can't do it with the sleeping Electro Koopa either. Man, there's a lot of sleeping enemies in this game. It looks like Yoshi still hasn't returned, so we're gonna head back to the natural habitat of both water rockets and Mecha Bowser. Well, sorta. You see, there are actually 2 levels with Mecha Bowser in them, one being the standard roller coaster level, and one being the level where you talk to the park manager before the roller coaster, which actually doesn't have rockets, but it does have a rocket out of bounds. Anyways, we're going to be loading into that version of Pinna Park, although with some cheats so we can free roam. And of course, we're also going to be modding in some rockets. Now, let's take aim at Mecha Bowser and shoot. Man, was anybody else hoping that'd be more exciting? As it turns out, Mecha Bowser operates pretty much exactly the same as before. The only real difference is that on the last hit, the cutscene doesn't start and Mario doesn't get a shine sprite, which again is because we're not actually in the standard roller coaster level. But what happens when you hit Mecha Bowser one more time? Nothing happens. But wait, look closely. That rocket after imploding on Mecha Bowser, it didn't respawn correctly. You guys had better buckle yourselves in because we're about to go for a ride. So, as it turns out, water rockets have an interesting similarity with water barrels of all things. I just got back to doing this series and I'm already talking about barrels again, and honestly, I actually wouldn't have it any other way. That aside, for those of you who've seen my Sunshine Experiments episode on barrels, you probably have a hunch as to what's going on here. You see, with the barrels, there's a glitch called a barrel stacking. Keeping it short, it's basically a glitch that teleports a barrel after Mario has placed it. Rockets, on the other hand, have a very similar, yet distinctly different behavior going on here. You see, when a rocket is shot and collides with the floor collision of an object, well, as you can see, instead of respawning where it should respawn, it respawns where it just exploded. I will be calling this rocket stacking. It could have another name though, I just don't know. That's not all though, there's still more to rocket stack. If Mario is to collect the so-called stacked rocket and tries to shoot it again, it'll actually teleport off a flood and shoot from where it was stacked. What's interesting is that rocket stacking can actually happen in Vanilla Sunshine. In fact, since Mecha Bowser has actual standable collision, you can get your rocket stacked on on Mecha Bowser, which actually happened to me during a speedrun. Here's the clip.
Well, oh, that's it in the roller coaster. Oh wait, did it not? Oh wait, is it attached to Bowser? Yeah, it is. It is. That's something I'm going to be doing a Sunshine Experiments episode on at some point.
If you didn't notice the rocket, that's okay. I didn't notice it during the run either. It actually got stacked on top of Mecha Bowser's leg, which got obscured by the machine's body. You can just barely see it here. Well, that's rocket stacking. Pretty cool stuff. Anyways, let's get back to the plaza, meet up with you. He's still gone. That's okay, that's okay. I still have one more thing to show you guys that doesn't involve Yoshi. For instance, what happens when Mario collects a water rocket with a different nozzle? Well, let's take a look. With the hover nozzle, the rocket will attach to FLUDD's left nozzle. What's cooler is that as long as you don't do a hard R press, no water will come out of FLUDD, which actually applies to the tank too, interestingly enough. Of course, if you decide to press R all the way down, then the rocket will shoot off, predictably in the down direction. Same thing basically applies to both the turbo and rocket nozzles, except that the rocket nozzle won't do its job, which is to rocket Mario into the sky. I guess the rockets cancel each other out or something like that, which kind of makes too much sense. Oh yeah, and two small but interesting things while I'm still stalling for Yoshi. One is that rockets will actually break against collision while still attached to FLUDD, and two is that when rockets respawn, they'll usually do so with a weird skew for some reason. Look who finally decided to show up. Perfect timing too, I may add. Because just like with all the other nozzles, Yoshi's mouth can hold a water rocket too. The most interesting part about this is by applying the knowledge from the beginning of the video, we actually have a portable platform anywhere we want it, which I have to say could be a really cool idea for a level in a ROM hack. Cloud Mario before Cloud Mario, who would have thought? Well, that's all I have to show you about water rockets. If this outro seems abrupt to you, then maybe you should go on ahead and watch this video on the right.